how are you feeling after the Nair incident?
Well, that was nothing.
Okay, guys, this is day 3. It's supposed to be the worst of it.
I feel like there are a lot of big in Miami.
When you think about the Real Housewives franchise, you imagine luxury, glamour, and picture-perfect lives. But behind all that glitz lies a shocking reality that nobody talks about. These women have spent millions chasing perfection, and what they got instead were nightmares that would haunt them for years. We're talking about procedures that went so wrong. They required emergency surgery to save lives, infections so severe that body parts turn black, and one ongoing mystery so bizarre that doctors still can't figure out what's happening. Tamra Judge decided to celebrate her birthday in 2024 with what she thought would be a transformation that would take years off her appearance. Instead, she ended up looking like she'd been in a serious accident, documenting her horror story on social media for millions of people to witness in real time.
The swelling is from the CO2 laser. You can see it's all the way down my chest.
Tamra decided to get a surgical brow lift, CO2 laser treatment, and blue chemical peel during the same time period. This created what medical experts call a perfect storm of facial trauma. Within hours, her face swelled to the point where she couldn't open her eyes. The chemical peel turned her skin an alarming blue color, while massive swelling extended from her face down to her chest. The images she shared were absolutely shocking. She looked like she'd been severely beaten or survived a car accident. Her facial features were completely distorted by the swelling. She couldn't eat solid food, had difficulty speaking, and needed help with basic activities. The noise from television hurt her head so badly she had to stay in complete silence during recovery. What made this particularly devastating was that Tamra had successful procedures before, including a lower facelift in 2017 that gave her natural-looking results. But the pressure to maintain her reality TV appearance drove her to undergo increasingly aggressive treatments. The recovery process she documented revealed the brutal reality behind the glamorous transformations viewers see on screen. Her case demonstrates how even routine procedures can become dangerous when combined or performed too aggressively.
Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel
and drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from.
Part 1 of the OC reunion aired, and there are a lot of people asking, what did Shannon do to her face?
Shannon Beador's journey into cosmetic enhancement hell began with what seemed like a smart approach. She started with conservative filler treatments to restore a youthful appearance without surgical risks. But like many people who begin with subtle enhancements, Shannon gradually escalated the amount and frequency of her treatments until her face looked completely unnatural. The overfilling became so severe that Shannon admitted she had gone too far and needed corrective action. She underwent hyaluronidas injections to dissolve the excessive filler, but the damage to her natural facial proportions was already done. Her face had been stretched and filled to the point where dissolving the fillers left her with loose, damaged skin. This forced Shannon into surgical intervention with a facelift, but her timing was catastrophic. She scheduled the procedure just 5 weeks before filming the Real Housewives reunion show. Facelift recovery typically requires 6 to 8 weeks for initial healing, with several months needed for final results. Appearing on television so soon after surgery meant viewers could see swelling, scarring, and other signs of recent trauma. The pressure to look perfect on camera drove Shannon to make decisions that compromised her healing and potentially her long-term results. Her rushed timeline became a topic of discussion among fans who noticed her unnatural appearance during filming. The case illustrates how reality TV pressures can push cast members into making cosmetic decisions based on production schedules rather than proper healing requirements.
New Jersey star Dolores Catania revealed she got a ton of plastic surgery ahead of last night's special reunion.
Dolores Catania's breast augmentation journey reveals how even initially successful procedures can create long-term problems that require multiple corrections. She underwent her initial breast augmentation approximately 9 years before sharing her story publicly, and at first everything seemed perfect. The implants gave her the enhanced figure she wanted, and she felt confident about her decision. But over time, Dolores began noticing serious problems. The implants weren't sitting properly on her chest and had begun sagging significantly. The appearance bothered her so much that she felt self-conscious about her body again. What makes her case particularly concerning is how Real Housewives cast members influence each other's medical decisions. Following Teresa Giudice's recommendation, Dolores decided to have her revision surgery performed by the same surgeon using the same type of implants that Teresa had received. This demonstrates the dangerous way reality TV stars share medical recommendations without considering that what works for one person may be completely inappropriate for another. Each person's anatomy, healing ability, and aesthetic goals are different. The influence of friend recommendations variations in cosmetic surgery decisions creates a ripple effect of potential complications throughout the cast. Dolores' experience shows how the pursuit of the perfect reality TV body can lead to a cycle of repeated procedures and ongoing dissatisfaction. Her case also highlights how breast implants are not lifetime devices and often require replacement or removal within a decade of installation.
Thought that, Teddy, maybe you were going to be a little boring. Okay.
Teddi Mellencamp's cosmetic surgery disaster reveals one of the most devastating hidden consequences of breast procedures that many women never consider. She underwent breast surgery at some point before having her third child, and initially, everything appeared successful. She was satisfied with the aesthetic results and had no immediate complications. The nightmare began when Teddi became pregnant with her third child and planned to breastfeed. She discovered that her breast surgery had severely affected her ability to nurse her baby, creating functional problems that went far beyond cosmetic concerns. The surgery had damaged her milk ducts and affected nipple sensation, making breastfeeding extremely difficult or impossible. What makes this particularly tragic is that Teddi had no idea this would happen. She stated that she had absolutely no idea the surgery would affect anything related to breastfeeding. This reveals a crucial gap in patient education and informed consent. Many women undergo breast procedures without fully understanding how surgery can impact their ability to feed future children. Her experience highlights the importance of discussing future family planning with plastic surgeons before undergoing any breast procedure. The psychological impact of being unable to breastfeed after surgery adds another layer of trauma to what should have been a happy time with her new baby. Teddi's case serves as a warning to women considering breast procedures to carefully consider all potential long-term consequences, not just the immediate aesthetic results.
You know, do I regret it? I don't regret anything, actually. I never regret anything.
Lisa Rinna's lip enhancement journey became one of the most documented cosmetic surgery disasters in reality television history, creating a decades-long medical nightmare that continues to impact her appearance today. Her problems began in the early 2000s when she received silicone lip injections that seemed like a good idea at the time, but created permanent complications. The permanent silicone created what she describes as P's of scar tissue throughout her lips that required reconstructive surgery. This led to 10 years of ongoing complications as her body continued to react to the foreign substance. Unlike temporary fillers that eventually dissolve, the silicone created permanent changes to her lip structure that couldn't be easily reversed. Lisa's case demonstrates how early cosmetic procedures, particularly those involving permanent substances, can create lifelong challenges. The scar tissue formation was unpredictable and continued to develop long after the initial injections. She required multiple corrective procedures to address the ongoing problems, each creating additional trauma to her already damaged lip tissue. Her lips became her trademark feature, but the psychological pressure to maintain this artificial appearance trapped her in a cycle of ongoing treatments.
It was amazing. It really was. Yeah, it was great. A lot of happy tears.
Teresa Giudice's extensive cosmetic surgery journey took a dangerous turn during what should have been a routine tummy tuck procedure that transformed into an emergency. Teresa has been open about her multiple breast augmentations over the years and regularly gets facial treatments, but her tummy tuck complications were far more serious than her other procedures. The surgery was intended to address loose skin and muscle separation after pregnancy, a common and typically safe procedure. But during Teresa's recovery, she developed what appeared to be a serious infection or healing complication. The exact nature of the problem has never been fully disclosed, but it was severe enough to require additional attention and extended recovery time. The infection was serious enough that Teresa needed ongoing treatment beyond the normal recovery period for tummy tuck surgery. She was forced to take time away from filming and public appearances while dealing with the issue. The complication caused significant distress and created genuine fear about her health and recovery. What makes Teresa's case particularly concerning is that despite experiencing this serious complication, she continued pursuing cosmetic procedures afterward. She underwent additional breast surgeries and continues getting regular injectable treatments. Her willingness to continue with cosmetic enhancement despite her negative experience demonstrates the powerful psychological appeal of these procedures and how difficult it can be for reality TV stars to step away from cosmetic enhancement once they've started.
Have they expressed wanting it someday?
They have not, well, Gabby has expressed wanting laser hair removal.
Jennifer Aydin's cosmetic surgery disaster is particularly ironic because she's married to a plastic surgeon, yet she experienced some of the most regrettable outcomes in Real Housewives history. Her husband, Dr. Bill Aydin, should have been able to guide her away from problematic procedures, but instead, their professional and personal relationship became complicated. Jennifer's cosmetic surgery journey began successfully with rhinoplasty that gave her the refined nose shape she wanted, but her next procedure, a chin implant, implant designed to create better facial balance quickly turned into a disaster. Almost immediately after the surgery, Jennifer knew something was wrong. The implant didn't look natural, didn't feel right, and created an appearance far from what she had envisioned. She made the difficult decision to have the chin implant completely removed shortly after installation. This required another surgery, additional healing time, and left her dealing with scar tissue where the implant had been placed. The removal process was complicated and traumatic, leaving her with no improvement to show for all the pain and expense.
What have you been up to today?
Today I've actually had a glass of champagne, a glass of vodka.
Lauren Simon thought she was making a smart financial decision when she booked a flight to Turkey for breast augmentation surgery. The procedure would cost a fraction of what she'd pay in the UK, and she'd get a vacation out of it too. Instead, she experienced a near-death situation. The Turkish clinic promised natural-looking results at an unbeatable price, complete with luxury accommodation and transportation. The surgery initially seemed to go smoothly, and Lauren was in and out of the operating room within hours. But within days of returning home, her nightmare began with a vengeance. The infection set in fast and aggressively. Her breast tissue began dying, turning dark colors that indicated serious necrosis. The pain was unbearable, and she couldn't sleep or function normally. She described feeling like she was going to die, and medical experts who treated her confirmed that her life was genuinely at risk. The worst part wasn't just the physical agony, but the complete abandonment by the Turkish clinic. Once patients return to their home countries, there is no aftercare, and the clinics show no interest in helping with complications. Lauren rushed to UK hospitals where doctors were horrified by what they saw. The surgical technique was substandard, the materials questionable, and the infection so severe that she required multiple emergency procedures to save her breast and prevent the infection from spreading throughout her body.
I need some quiet in my head.
Marysol Patton holds the unfortunate record for the most cosmetic surgery disasters in Real Housewives history, with 6 different procedures that read like a horror story. Each surgery created new problems that required additional operations to fix, trapping her in a cycle of ongoing complications that lasted for years. Her nightmare began when she was just a teenager with naturally large breasts during an era when smaller chests were fashionable. The constant attention made her uncomfortable, so she underwent breast reduction surgery at a young age. But the timing was catastrophic because she wasn't finished developing physically. Her breast tissue continued growing after the surgery, returning to its original size while leaving her with permanent surgical scars. Frustrated with the failed reduction, Marysol decided to undergo another procedure, but the overcorrection left her feeling worse than before any surgical intervention. She then got breast implants to restore volume, but during one procedure, something went catastrophically wrong. One of her breast implants literally migrated from its intended position to her shoulder area. The implant had to be surgically removed from the wrong location and repositioned, creating additional scar tissue and trauma. But her nightmare wasn't over. One of her breast implants actually popped, requiring another emergency procedure. Each surgery created new scar tissue, making subsequent procedures more difficult and risky. The repeated trauma left Marysol dealing with chronic pain, limited mobility, and psychological trauma from years of failed surgeries.
Bravo stuff about certain people. I'm a mess. Like, I'm broken right now.
Brandi Glanville's ongoing facial disfigurement has become one of the most documented and mysterious cases in reality television history. After spending $70,000 on corrective procedures, she's lost teeth and describes feeling like something is birthing in her face, suggesting severe tissue damage that continues to worsen. In 2024, Brandi disappeared from public view for over a year, then posted an unfiltered photo that shocked fans. Everyone assumed it was more botched cosmetic work, but the truth might be even more disturbing. She claims some doctors think she has a parasite that jumps around her face, living in her skin and creating lumps in different places. Other medical professionals suggest it's stress-induced swelling, called angioedema, that makes her go into anaphylactic shock. Brandi has spent almost every dollar trying to figure out what's wrong with her face. The mysterious condition has created speech problems and caused her to lose teeth, fundamentally altering her ability to participate in normal social interactions. With her career and personal life severely impacted, Brandi went from voluntarily changing everything about her appearance to having a mystery condition change it against her will. The case demonstrates how the stress of reality TV drama can have devastating physical consequences that extend far beyond emotional trauma.
God, I hope a real good shakeup. You know that tornado that came through my neighborhood? I hope it comes through the show, honey. We're still...
LeeAnne Locken from Real Housewives of Dallas contracted necrotizing fasciitis, commonly known as flesh-eating bacteria, following a cosmetic procedure in Mexico. This condition led to sepsis, multiple hospitalizations, and a significant career hiatus that nearly ended her life. The flesh-eating bacteria infection developed rapidly after her procedure, creating an emergency that required immediate intervention to save her life. Necrotizing fasciitis destroys tissue at an alarming rate and can dispatch patients within hours if not treated aggressively. LeeAnne's case required multiple surgeries to remove dead tissue and prevent the infection from spreading throughout her body. LeeAnne's experience with flesh-eating bacteria represents one of the most serious complications documented among Real Housewives cast members. The infection could have ended her life within days, and the extensive treatment required to save her life created both physical and emotional trauma that lasted long after her recovery. Her case serves as a stark warning about the potential consequences of seeking cosmetic procedures in countries with different standards and limited oversight.
Real, nobody can see if I'm standing up straight or not. You look like a mummy, dude.
Kim Zolciak from Real Housewives of Atlanta has undergone so many procedures that she recently appeared on Botched Plastic Surgery Rewind to consider reversing some of her cosmetic work. Her transformation journey reveals how reality TV pressures can create an unstoppable cycle of surgical obsession that spans over 15 years. Kim's extensive list of procedures reads like a surgeon's catalog. She's had multiple breast augmentations, a nose job, breast lift, liposuction, tummy tucks, Brazilian butt lifts, facelifts, lip fillers, and Botox treatments. But perhaps most shocking is her admission to getting ear fillers specifically to better support heavy diamond jewelry. The psychological impact of her surgical journey became apparent when Kim admitted her biggest post-divorce regret. One recent treatment did the opposite of what she wanted, leaving her looking older instead of younger. This revelation demonstrates how cosmetic procedures can backfire when performed excessively or during emotionally vulnerable periods. Kim's influence extends beyond her own body modifications. Her openness about procedures has significantly impacted her family dynamics, with her daughter Brielle also undergoing multiple surgeries before age 30. This creates a disturbing pattern where cosmetic enhancement becomes normalized across generations, potentially setting up younger family members for their own surgical complications later in life.
I'm gonna be on their side. They didn't have the right to walk in my house and do whatever they want to do, so.
NeNe Leakes from Real Housewives of Atlanta underwent such dramatic cosmetic changes that fans barely recognized the woman who once dominated reality television with her larger-than-life personality. Her transformation represents one of the most extreme makeovers in Housewives history, but the results have sparked controversy about when enhancement becomes complete facial reconstruction. NeNe has been remarkably open about her extensive procedures, including multiple nose jobs, breast augmentations, liposuction, and facial work that appears to include significant changes to her bone structure. The most shocking aspect of her transformation is how her facial features have been completely altered, creating an appearance that bears little resemblance to her original appearance, resemblance to her original look. The impact of such extreme changes became apparent when NeNe began facing criticism from fans who claimed they could no longer recognize her. Social media reactions have been particularly harsh, with longtime viewers expressing shock at her drastically different appearance. The pressure of maintaining her reality TV career while dealing with public scrutiny about her changing looks created additional stress.
I appreciate that compliment. Thank you very much. You know, there's been a lot of attention on my diet and exercise recently.
Kyle Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills experienced one of the most publicly documented cosmetic surgery regrets in franchise history. Her nose job disaster became a recurring topic on the show, with Kyle openly discussing how the procedure went wrong and created years of breathing problems and aesthetic issues. Kyle's original nose job was performed years ago, but the results were immediately problematic. The surgery created severe functional problems that made it difficult for her to breathe properly. She described feeling like her nasal passages were constantly blocked, making simple activities like sleeping and exercising challenging. The aesthetic results were equally disappointing, creating an unnatural appearance that didn't complement her facial features. The breathing problems became so severe that Kyle required revision surgery to correct the functional issues. However, the revision surgery created additional scar tissue and complications that made her situation even worse. She has been remarkably candid about her regrets, stating multiple times on camera that she wishes she had never touched her nose in the first place.
I got a slight eyebrow lift, and that's why I had these staples in my head.
Heidi Montag, who later appeared on various Real Housewives spin-offs and reality shows, holds the record for the most extreme single-day cosmetic surgery disaster in reality television history. In 2010, she underwent 10 different procedures in one day, creating a catastrophe that nearly ended her life and left her permanently damaged. The procedures Heidi had performed in a single session included a mini brow lift, Botox, nose job revision, fat injections in her cheeks and lips, chin reduction, neck liposuction, liposuction, ears pinned back, breast augmentation revision, liposuction on her legs, hips, and midsection, and buttock augmentation. The sheer number of simultaneous surgeries created massive trauma to her body that pushed her to the brink of survival. Within hours of the procedures, Heidi's body went into shock from the extensive trauma. She developed life-threatening complications, including severe swelling, difficulty breathing, and what she described as feeling like she was dying. The pain was so excruciating that she couldn't move for weeks, and the swelling was so severe that she was virtually unrecognizable. The aftermath proved equally devastating. Heidi has repeatedly expressed deep regret about the procedures, stating that she was addicted to cosmetic surgery and couldn't stop herself from going too far. The procedures left her with permanent scarring, altered sensation throughout her body, and ongoing health issues that persist more than a decade later. Her case represents the most extreme example of cosmetic surgery addiction and its potentially fatal consequences when taken to dangerous extremes. The Real Housewives plastic surgery disasters we've covered today prove that money can't buy perfect results, and sometimes the pursuit of perfection creates permanent damage that's far worse than aging naturally. These women risked their lives, spent fortunes, and ended up with complications that required years of corrective procedures to fix. These Real Housewives disasters serve as cautionary tales for anyone considering cosmetic procedures. No matter how much money you have, how good your surgeon's reputation is, or how simple the procedure seems, there are always risks that can change your life forever. The pursuit of perfection through surgery has cost these women their health, their finances, and in some cases, nearly their lives. Their stories remind us that sometimes the best choice is to embrace natural aging rather than risking everything in the pursuit of artificial perfection. Thanks for watching the video, and subscribe to the channel for more videos.